good today.
We locked and loaded tonight. We got a great show tonight. We got some young entrepreneur CEOs that are on the rise. What I love more than anything is, man, they from the city.
From the city.
So I'm excited about, man, just what they're doing in their personal business ventures, and just, you know, being able to see them grow through the years, man. It's unbelievable. Plus, we had to really get some nuggets, man. You know, me being an entrepreneur myself, going that route, you know, loving that vein.
Okay.
It's gonna be good. Just really just to hear from them, man. They rubbing shoulders with the right people, and you know what I mean. God really opening up doors. So it's gonna be an unbelievable show tonight, man.
And a great show, man.
It is another Monday. Another Monday. That's always good, man. Definitely. We're streaming live, so you know, if you want to watch us streaming live, go to my Facebook page, Reese James. Go to Rick Jones' Facebook page, or go to Holy Hills Radio Facebook page. Click on that YouTube link. You can watch us streaming live right now. So yeah, get on the phone, tell somebody that the Rick and Reese show is on. We about to dive into some good music, and then we coming right back with our first guest, and we're gonna get the ball rolling. Don't go nowhere. You better get your pen and pad out tonight. You might want to take notes.
Come on, this might increase your bank account.
Especially if you got that entrepreneurial spirit. You definitely gonna want to take notes tonight from these individuals that we got on the show. So keep it locked. This is the Rick and Reese show on Holy Hills Radio.
Keep it locked.
It's the same God who was there for you in the midnight hour. It's the same God who is able to wipe your tears away. It's the same God who was there I can want. It's the same God. It's Jehovah, my great provider. Tell me why you're giving up on God. Tell me why you're giving up on Him. Tell me why you're giving up on God. Hold on, change is on the way. You could not stop. Again, even so, boogie. Imana tia tigide. One more. Jesus, Hitaya here. Chukadiga Swasi. Agatiri Gima. Down you cry, it changes He. Weep him down for a night. Joy's gonna come in the morning. You don't have to cry no more. Hold God by His word. He's gonna do what He says. Lift your hands and give Him praise. Oh. You could not so on the evil. Yes, so boogie. On the evil, so boogie. One more. It's a Chukadiga Swasi, Agatiri Gima. I know you've been crying, I understand. I know you've been wounded, but it's okay. I know you've been broken, but I'm here. Too many are broken hearts. Believe in me, you will overcome. Yesterday will be your story. I'm the God of all flesh. Nothing is too hard for me to do, yes. Try to forget.
I come to see.
Try to forget now.
I miss the day.
Try to forget.
I get too tired to
Try to live my life. Don't you cry, it's gonna be over. You will overcome today. Find your ways and give Him all the praise.
Welcome back. You're locked into the Rick and Reese show on Holy Hills Radio. Again, it's your favorite co-host in America, man, Maurice James.
We're gonna fight over that, man. We're gonna fight.
You know what? It's a tussle. I think that America spoke, though. But I don't want to make you feel bad.
We're gonna have a vote, man.
We have to see. We'll take it to social media and see what social media say. We'll let them speak.
Okay.
All right. We'll do it. We'll do it. America, we told you tonight was the night. We told you to get your pen and pad out if you got that entrepreneurial spirit, because we got some individuals tonight that's really doing it. They're doing it at a high level, and they started from the ground up, which is really what I love to see. And so we have a young lady on the phone now as our call-in guest tonight. I feel good because it's a friend of mine, and it's good when you can say it's a friend of yours and really mean it.
Right.
Sometimes your name drop, but it's good when you can say it's a friend of yours and really mean it. We go back to childhood together. She's the founder and CEO of Flat Out of Heels. If you don't know, trust me, it'll be coming to a city near you, doing big things. We got Don Dixon on the line. Don, how you doing tonight?
I am so good, and thank you so much for having me today. I feel very humbled and blessed to be talking to you guys tonight. I really do.
You know what, Don? I was just saying that to Rick about me. I was saying, man, I feel humbled to have Don. Now, Rick didn't say that, but I was saying it, though.
Don knows my heart. She knows my heart.
Nah, we really do. We appreciate you taking time out. We know, schedule can get, pretty busy when you're your own company. And, definitely when you're building something from the ground up. Where in the world can we start? Right. Don Dixon. What birthed that vision for Flat Out of Heels and just wanting to really go down?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur full time since 2001 when I started my first business in Columbus, the Urban Star.com, which did really well. And from there, I started another business called D1 Consulting, where I did many events, product launches, and all kinds of different types of events for about 7 or 8 years. From there, of course, being an event coordinator, I see women wearing heels every night, women walking around, in pain. I'm a woman that wears heels as well, but I just noticed how many women were walking barefoot, carrying flip-flops, and even myself from working all night, I was in heels, and I didn't want to put on flip-flops or, put on tennis shoes, and definitely not going to walk barefoot. So I started to come to, a time in my career where I was very successful doing events. I had everything that I wanted in, material-wise, and it was just, I really wasn't challenged, and so I was, praying and asking God to give me another business, something else that I can do that also didn't require me a young daughter at the time. She just had started kindergarten, and I just couldn't travel and be out like I used to, and so I wanted something else, something that would allow me to serve my greater purpose to help people. Of course, but I just was praying for some idea that can help me to serve a greater purpose. And just one night I was out, my feet was hurting, and I had a light bulb go off. We need vending machines, the shoes and vending machines, and that was definitely God giving me an idea. You asked for an idea, here, take it. You better do something with it. So I had to do it because then you can't complain because I got a great idea. So, that was just the beginning of it.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
I've been an entrepreneur always.
You have. I remember the Urban Star. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Tell us a little bit about that. You started that right after college, and what is that?
Yes.
Did that business help? Flat out, that build your network, and did it all transfer over?
That's exactly what it did. First of all, it taught me about business, but the Urban Star was essentially a media outlet, like you all have now. A media outlet. You can have so many opportunities where for advertising, relationships, you can leverage that audience that you have, and so Urban Star was such a new concept in 2001, 2002. People just started going online to find things and do things and have personal time on the internet. There was no such thing for a topic or a constant contact or Facebook or LinkedIn. There was nothing. We were doing email marketing and online marketing before any of these modern tools existed. We built a website for people to be able to go and find out what's going on tonight. That's where it started. My I also NYSP, Columbus City Public. Just still doing big things. He's still doing big things, and he's also a partner flat out also. But Brandon and I have been working together for several years in different entrepreneurial ventures. But definitely Urban Star laid the groundwork for me to be able to but also just network. I started building my network very early on, and many of the people in relationships that I built, back then have been the people to help me to really make some great progress with Flat Out Adults, because, and this is why I always say, you never, my network is my network, and you never going to be so got to treat everybody good all the time. Just treat people good, because I never knew that back when I was 20, I was, hanging around with it, being friends would turn out to be like big time decision makers now. Me in the Atlanta airport, and to get me in the Club Live, or to get me on television, or to get, my products in places that I never would imagine it being, because I just have a reputation for just treating people right. Like, this golden rule is what I live by. So it's always been that, treat people the way you want to be treated, and things just fall into place.
That's huge. Like you said, your net worth is your network is your net worth.
It is.
And that's so true. You know what I mean? And it's funny, you learn it more as you get older. Hopefully it's something you can grab when you get older. You really learn that sometimes it's a lot about who you know, and not always necessarily what you know. So that's definitely huge. When I obviously, because of social media, which I love to death, because it allows you to keep an eye on people who don't necessarily live in the city anymore, but that you're friends with. And so just being able to keep an eye on you. When I first saw that you were the whole concept of the whole vending machine with a shoe, I sat and wrestled with it while I was looking at it on my smartphone. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, like, how challenging was that? Though it was a God-given idea, was it a challenge to be like, okay, now I got to convince the people that shoes and vending machines can work?
Challenge, absolutely. Like, of course, but how are you going to do this? And where are you going to get this vending machine from? And so, automated retailing has taken off so much in the past 3 years since I started Flat Out. So when I first started, I couldn't find any vending machines, anyone to make it for me. There was no machines, anything like the one that I have that's about 5 feet tall, a little under 5 feet tall, 2.5 feet wide, like an ATM that sells shoes. There just wasn't things like that. People envision a vending machine to mean like a big machine with coils that drop out and soda. So they just couldn't get their mind around it. Like, what's it going to look like? A vending machine? Like, what's it going to look like? So it took me 2 years to actually get a machine that worked. A machine that was aesthetically the way that we wanted it to be, and it was a lot of pain and a lot of challenges. But the women, as soon as I plugged it up and got it there, the women got it, and they were like all about it. It definitely was getting investors to understand the concept, just because all they see is dollars, and they're like, okay, yeah, we think it's a good idea, but equipment costs, and there's depreciation, and then there's maintenance, and then there's service, and then there's, so they just see all of the financial risk that's involved with having any kind of hardware. Mm-hmm. So that's always, something that's there. But luckily I have my e-commerce channel that is just like selling in your sleep, like all day, just sell shoes. So that supports the vending machines. But it's definitely, in Japan, there's one vending machine for every 23 people. It's automated retailing is a huge part of their society. It's not so much here, so we're definitely slow behind the curve, but more and more vending machines are popping up now with products. Kind of like a pioneer in it, the same way I was like a pioneer in online events. And, I could have definitely made a whole lot more money than I did off of Urban Star if I knew what I knew now, and it'll be the same thing with the vending machines. You know, when you're first to market and you're first to do something, you take all the hits, you take all the risks, you take all the losses, and you are the guinea pig. So that's I'm kind of like the guinea pig. Everybody's looking at me like, for my mistake, so they won't make them, and that's okay too, because you know that's just the way things work.
That's true. That's true.
Now, now, Don, we all know that, you know, a wedding is the biggest day of somebody's life. How do you feel about Candy, you know, wearing from Housewives of Atlanta, wearing the flat out of heels? How did you feel about that? I mean, what was that like?
That was first. I mean, it was just again network. You know, I know a friend of mine is a publicist. She was hired to do Candy's wedding, and she was like, "Listen, we need to have flat outs here." And I knew they were there, but I had no idea they were going to be on TV. So, like, literally, I'm watching. I knew that they were there. She posted it on Instagram for like 1 million people. She posted it on Facebook for like another 1 million people. So that was amazing because of the reach that I got, and you know that translates into sales almost immediately. But when I was watching the TV show, like watching her wedding special, and I seen them wearing them, and then like at the end when he like picked her up in her wedding dress, and her dress came back and she had a gold flat out, I was like,
God.
I was like so excited. I was excited because I mean, it makes definitely the challenges worth it when like the victories. And you know, I always say entrepreneurship is extreme highs and there's extreme lows.
Right.
So you have to learn how to be even. You can't. I've learned never to get too excited and never to get too upset, because you know one day it'll be like the best news ever and the most devastating news ever in the same day. Like literally, that happened to me last week. Like the worst news I could ever get and the best news I could ever get in the same day. So it's just a matter of being even. But I definitely celebrate those victories. I love to put it on social media, because Team Flat Out, they are so proud of where we're going, and they make it more exciting for me to share it with my followers, because they really pump it up.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
She saw that dress come back and saw them go.
Yes, I saw the gold flash. I didn't even know.
Yeah, that'll blow. That's mind blowing right there.
Yeah.
When you think about business, we know, you know, when you're starting something from the ground up, you often have people who are established, you know, in business, who are looking for that next big thing. Have you ever experienced in this, you know, short period of time with Flat Out of Heels? Has anybody approached you that wanted to purchase the concept, or maybe wanted to buy in?
Several times. I mean, you know, I don't even know where to start, how to keep this brief, but several times, and you know, people, you know, I was on CNBC and Yahoo with Marcus Lemonis. I was on the BizFix for Marcus Lemonis, who is on the Profit, and he wanted to invest in the company, wanted to be a partner, and we got very close to that, and just, you know, minor people change their mind, or they want different things. And a lot of times, even when you see the show Shark Tank, this is a great example, and this will sum it up better, because there's been a lot of people that want to buy my company, offer me money for my company, they want to invest, they have their own ideas of what they want to do, and even if they say yes, I want to do it, there's a thing called due diligence. When you're on Shark Tank, that people say, okay, I'm in, they never happen. Almost probably 70% of the deals you see on Shark Tank never happen. Wow. That's because they say yes, they like the idea, they want to do it. When they go into due diligence, which is a very painful amount of paperwork, discovering financials, projections, negotiations, terms, you know, deal memos, those things are hundreds of pages of documents. And sometimes the deals don't work out because the due diligence, because it'll be minor, small things, or sometimes it comes down to the end of the deal. I won't say all the way details, but I had a deal already signed and everything. And when it's time to close, the person that was buying my business, they didn't have the money to buy it. So why did you, you know, it's always a learning experience. So again, that's why I've learned, don't get too excited. Just don't get done. if I would have, and that comes brings to the sign faith or was a because when things are when you we were right there saying here paperwork like the work ready to get like real and it was one and so like that I have that so it didn't happen because there's something greater for me. God has something greater for me. I have to tell myself that every day. And I always refer back to Job, you know, like there's like highs and lows in Job, and he didn't have, they got to away everything he had, nothing. And he still praised God, like, thank you, God, for just letting me be alive. Basically, you took my family and all my wealth, and that's how entrepreneurship is. It's like having faith when you just don't see the outcome. Like, you don't know what's going to happen when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to sign this big deal and I didn't sign it. Now what? I'm supposed to be on Shark Tank. Now what? It's just like you just keep going, and that's the difference between people that, you know, make it and don't. So yeah, your question was people ask to buy it all the time. People all the time tell me they want to buy it, they want to invest, and you know, sometimes it goes through, sometimes it doesn't.
Okay. You know, I was looking on, you know, I was researching you a little bit and researching the company, and to my surprise, I seen some similar things. With that being said, you know, a lot of times when you see companies have success, such as Coca-Cola, you see duplication, somebody trying to copy, like Pepsi. Have you, in your success, seen any other company trying to duplicate, you know, what you've come up with and made it a competitive market?
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of business. If nobody's copying off what you're doing, you're not doing anything good. So, imitation is the best form of flattery. So I see my competitors using my exact words. So, like, I'll be reading their stuff like, I typed that.
Right.
Why is that on your website?
Wow.
Okay, because you know what? I do the same thing because it's a sharky thing out. It's a sharky game out here, and it is what it is, and it's okay. And I didn't invent rollable flats. I just perfected them. But of course, somebody did it before me, and they see me, and they're like, "Wait a minute, this chick done stole my idea." But I didn't. I just took your idea. It was a good one. It wasn't all the way right. And so I made it all the way right for the customer. And the way that, you know, the way the business setup and world is set up, there's enough money out here for everybody to make a lot of money doing what they want to do. So I'm never worried about what anybody else is doing.
That's good.
I definitely do. However, it's important to know. I'm not worried, but I'm very aware. I have all of my competitors or anybody doing anything similar to me on Google Alerts. That means anytime that they're on anywhere on the website, I mean, on the World Wide Web, I'll get an email so I can see what they're doing. And that helps me to keep up to date with when they, you know, they're raising money, they're putting out new shoes, whatever they're doing, so that I can stay ahead of the curve. But competition is definitely healthy, and I like to compete. So I like to beat people, so you have to give me a challenge for me to beat you.
That's good.
Just Google Alert.
Right. That's good.
If you breathe, I'm gonna see it on Google Alert.
If you post one thing, it's gonna come to my phone. So
on top of it. Now tell us about entrepreneurship. A little bit about, does leadership and entrepreneurship do that tie into each other?
To be successful, absolutely. I mean, anyone can start a business and start, you know, an idea, get an LLC or get an EIN number and start a website. But to be able to build a team, see, because look at it like this. Like, so Flat Out was my idea. It was in my brain. That was it. Like, we all get ideas. So, like, I seen it in my brain, shoes and a vending machine. Well, I don't make shoes. I don't build vending machines. I don't know how to build a website. So all the things that make my business exist are done by other people. Someone manufactures my shoes, I have to just send them my ideas, they make it. Someone manufactures my vending machine, I have to send them my ideas, they make it. Someone makes my website, my logo, my social media, everything that happens, customer service. Like, I'm essentially the leader. I'm able to put people together and put the right people in place to get a project done. So I'm like a project manager. You know, the CEO is the leader, project manager. I really, you know, I have a overall understanding and knowledge to delegate and know what I want. But the people that work with me are experts, and they're the best at what they do. And that's the key. You pick people that are better than you, and they're the best at what they do. And in order to effectively manage these people and communicate and manage their product, you have to be a leader, because they have to respect you. They have to have loyalty to you. Because at any time, if everybody says, you know what, Dawn, I'm tired of you, I quit, there's no flat out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No flat out without my team. It doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So to start a business, anybody can start a business, but to build a corporation, to build a brand, to have a company, to have a team, leadership is the number one, and communication, the number one most important thing.
That's good.
That's huge. I totally agree. I know me, you know, being in business, having mentors has been, you know, vital in my business, really being raised up by some people who are extremely successful, you know, in the industry. With that being said, how do you look at mentorship? Do you have some people that are really pouring into you, that have been pouring into you, that are,
My gosh, yes.
that are functioning like at a higher level in this specific industry, or do you have mentors that maybe are in various industries and still, you know, able to pour kind of leadership principles and different things that are tangible regardless of the profession?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have mentors in, you know, life, like just, hey, work balance, like life, like get your mind right. Mentors talk about, you know, just how to walk the right path. And I have mentors in footwear. You know, Joe Antibbe, he's one of my mentors. He owns Antibbe Footwear. I have Rodney Sampson. He's a mentor to me. I have an advisory board that they are entrepreneurs that have exited and sold businesses, and I go to them and I'm like, what should I do? They are advisors to me. I have, you know, David Freshman of Fashion Best, Tim Reese. Even when I started, just from being growing up in Columbus, I mean, Mr. Ray, Al Ray was my first real mentor over at UMOP when I was 14, and he's still a huge influence on my life. Just, you know, taught me so much, kept me on the right path as a young person. And then Dr. Nicholson, who used to be the executive director of the King Arts Complex, just taught me so much about business. Alan Sorter, who owns the Columbus Post newspaper, taught me everything about being a CEO and how to run a business and how to manage a business. And I have an attorney that mentors me. I mean, I have about 10 people that are very close personal advisors, confidants that I can talk to about anything I need to talk about. So a lot of time, I took about a year of this journey, and I just kind of stayed to myself, and I didn't talk to any mentors or anybody. And I would call myself being on the grind and being focused and trying to do things on my own and prove that I could do things on my own. And I had a really bad year because I was, wasn't telling anybody what I needed, wasn't asking for advice, and I made a lot of mistakes. Mistake that could have been my mouth and don't know. So like I'm okay with saying, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what this is. I don't know what you mean. Even as early as last week, I had a pitch last week at Tech Cocktail where I played Sports in the Nation in Tech Cocktail. But
congratulations.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great experience. But so I'm on stage and I'm giving my live pitch and have questions and answer time. And so I think I know everything. Like, I'm very confident. I think I know everything about my business. I think you can't ask me anything about my business that I don't know. So that day, I'm on the stage, and they asked me, what's the lifetime value of your customer? And, I mean, I was like, in my brain, I was like, oh, my God, what's that mean? So I couldn't say, excuse me, what does that mean?
Right.
So I'm sitting up there, and I'm like, well, I like to think that my customers will be around forever. That's not the right answer.
It's a humbling experience.
Right. I had to just spin it like, I had to like put a smile on, and everybody knows, like, she doesn't know.
Oh, goodness.
So after it was over, one of the judges came up to me like, you're doing a great job. You did a great job. I'm really proud of you. I was like, listen, what what does lifetime value mean? Because I can never get up in front of nobody again and not know what that means. Like,
Wow.
but that's a number value. If everybody listening, you should always know your customer acquisition cost to get a new customer. Lifetime value is how much money will your customers spend with you over the lifetime. So say you spend $5 to get a new customer. How much money are they going to spend with you over a lifetime?
Wow.
It's a number. So for me now, I know that my customers spend about $40 to $60 a year per customer. So that's the lifetime value, which is very significant value for me to pay about $7 to $10 to acquire a customer.
Right.
But that's where it comes in of just, being humble and saying, I don't know, can you help me? And that's hard for a person that usually entrepreneurs are confident and they're leaders and they know everything, think they know everything, but it's very important to stay humble and just ask for help. Right. So I definitely have mentors, advisors. They check me, they tell me I'm wrong, like I'd be crying, like it's all of that.
I heard the same question.
I will say I never watched Shark Tank because I was supposed to be cast on a so I was closing it in until it should have watched it. I wouldn't got that.
Right.
Yeah.
Bloody. Now, real question: what is 5 books? 5 books that you read?
Yes, I love books. Okay.
I can tell.
Yeah, my favorite book. I have so many books, but my favorite book, the book that changed my life, was The 4 Agreements. Actually, someone that was a mentor to me in my 20s named Reese, he's in Columbus. So when I read The 4 Agreements, it definitely changed my life. Another book that I love that he also told me to read that helped me to shape my career was A Personal Touch by Terry. What's Terry's last name? I'm about to Google it right now because I need to tell you right now.
Get it out there.
A Personal Touch. Oh my gosh. By Terry. What's her last name? Okay, go to the next book, and then another. I'll figure one out. Look, I'm reading it right now. Well, Entrepreneur Mind, another by Kevin Johnson.
Oh yeah.
And then the also amazing book, Napoleon. That book that I just love so much for women. I think all women should read. The book by Sheryl Sandberg, Lean In. Okay. It's just a great book. Really catered towards women and saying, as a woman, don't pull away from responsibility. Don't pull away from being a leader. Lean in and just, lean in and be the leader that you want to be. And then another great book, this is my last one, Live Bring Happiness by Tony Hsieh. As a person, as a business owner of a company that sells a product, and anybody that has customers, to just read this book because it really talks about how to connect with your customer and how to really finish. People don't want to just buy something. They want to have brand loyalty. They want an experience. They want how to. That's a great book. And I could go on and on because I read for my peer books a lot, but I really focus more on spiritual things because it's so important to keep that balance
right
in your life. So I focus less on books on how to dominate and attack and defeat and more on books of how to just be harmonious and peaceful within myself and, try to just be the best me that I can be and get that energy out. Goes into it with the attitude of give, help other people to sing. What's the difference of that? You can be like a shark.
Networking is He just follows the and events that you seem to frequent. You know what I mean? A lot of different conferences, a lot of different events. What are some key conferences that you feel like, you know, or can't miss? Like, I gotta be there. It's mandatory.
Um, I mean, I've been to the ones that made an impact for me. The first conference, it's always good to, when you're starting out. Like for me, it was the Black Enterprise Entrepreneur Conference that really helped me to make some really good connections to go to the next level and learn, like to raise money, and wanted to start to raise capital for my business beyond just like my friends and family. I went to the Black Enterprise Entrepreneur Conference to learn, you know, to meet some contacts, and I met Tim and Mark with National Minority Angel Investment Network, which is something everybody should look up because they're great. They're great guys, and Tim Williams and Mark Mathis, they're great mentors to young Black entrepreneurs. So definitely reach out to them because, you know, I will say this, and I don't know how to say this in the right way without being offensive, but a lot of us is on that polishing business, and we don't really know how to speak and what to ask for in the keyword. So we don't want to jump. It's not good to jump right out there and go to the mainstream conferences until you are comfortable and know the language. And, you know, it's easier when you're amongst your own people that you're comfortable with, familiar with, to learn. That was a great way to learn. What you want to do and people that you want to meet. So I pick the conferences that I go to based on who's going to be there. I want to sell my shoes on Zappos. So the TikTok, it's the $250,000 conference who is the speaker. Okay, I need to be there because he needs to see it. And your training and take advantage of things like school, commerce, and everything, and start to network from there.
That's good.
There's a stage you will be more networking.
To get into a setting where you're comfortable, and instead of trying to go from 0 to 100 and then find yourself, you know, kind of drowning in the deep. So I think that was definitely key. Before we as we get ready to wrap up, franchise opportunities for Flat Out, is that something that's in the pipeline? I actually got 2 questions, so that's one.
I'll make it quick because I know I talk a lot. So yes, we have people can be an independent distributor of a Flat Out of Heels machine. So how it works is that you would purchase a Flat Out machine as your own independent business, and you have the right to use our license, and then you just purchase shoes from us wholesale, and you sell Flat Out in your own machine. It's not mine. I don't get any percentage of their sales or anything. There's a program for that, and we have a website, and it's shoevending.com. So I actually have 2 businesses. I have a business called Flat Out of Heels, and I have a business called Solutions Vending International. And SBI is a automated retailing systems manufacturing company, and that sells vending machines. So, and then Flat Out sells shoes. So I just sell shoes to my other company. And it's just like helps me to keep my overhead down for my main business. But yes, you can, and it's shoevending.com.
Okay, so me and Rick we'll get that worked out outside of here. It sounds like opportunity. And the next question before we get ready to wrap up, you know, I know that you said there's some big things coming in the next couple of months. I know sometimes information is sensitive and it's time sensitive and you can't always release it. But you know, what can the people expect from, you know, Flat Out, you know, 6 months?
Well, I have some really big deals in the pipeline, as always. And as I told you before, deals sometimes don't happen. But I mean, I did sign, and we are in the process of finalizing the collection for Lauren Reidinger, who is the Senior Vice President of Market America and Shop.com, and she also is the owner of Lauren's Jewels and Motives Cosmetics. So she's my celebrity endorser. The reason why I selected Lauren over anyone else, not just because she's, you know, very business savvy, beautiful, intelligent, but she comes with a 300,000 plus network of sales reps. So, you know, as opposed to a celebrity just will wear it and say, hey, wear it because I wear it. Lauren actually gives me an outlet to sell, and she has sales people. So we have a plan to really, you know, you're going to see some big things from the brand coming out of that partnership just because I have, like, you know, she's done multi. They did maybe $500 million in sales last year. Jeez. So she's definitely a heavy hitter. It's definitely a blessing to be working with her. It's definitely a blessing. And it took me 2 years. And the way that I got to work with Lauren was I just had the courage to hit her up on LinkedIn. So that tells you right there. LinkedIn is the single most important resource for business people. Get off of Facebook, get on LinkedIn, and be on there. Be busy on LinkedIn as much as you are on Facebook because the money's on LinkedIn.
That's huge. If anybody wants to, you know, reach out to you, you know, personally, we want you to speak, want you to do some different things. The websites where they Flat Out, and again, your information about the franchise opportunities. If you can just give us those real quick again, so the listeners can jot them down if they weren't able to before.
Yeah, so you can purchase Flat Out at flatheels.com. We're also Flat Out of Heels on all social media. For information on purchasing a vending machine, go to shoevending.com. And if you want to reach me for business-related purposes, not for dates or personal information, and if you want to reach me, you can reach me directly at dawn@flatoutofheels.com.
There you go, right there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that's the CEO and founder of Flat Out of Heels, doing major things. Don, we're proud of you. You know, here at the Rick and Reese Show, man, you know, we support you 100%, even though those is, you know, shoes for fellas we left out. But, you know, we always support you, man. We love to see you doing major things. And you always got this platform here to push everything that you got to push. And we appreciate you taking your time out.
One more last thing. Women at the church, you can wear flat outs from the car to church. Perfect church shoe. Just put it out there.
There it is. So we appreciate you coming on tonight, Don. We definitely going to be in contact with you soon, and keep doing what you're doing. We love you here at the Rick and Reese Show.
All right, Don.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
No problem.
All right.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. The CEO and founder of Flat Out of Heels, doing major things. She's down south. I think she's in the Miami area. She's doing some big things, man. She's definitely a Columbus
native.
Definitely a Columbus native. So we're going to jump to a song real quick. And then we got another Columbus native CEO that's doing major things in the fashion industry. Man, when I say dress to impress, it's enough said. So don't go nowhere. We got the CEO and founder of Jones Select, Gary Jones, in studio when we come back. Don't touch that dial. It's the Rick and Reese Show.
Keep it locked.
Holy Hill.
of your glory. I will show forth your beauty. If I dance, it won't be enough. If I shout, it won't be enough. I will speak of your glory. I will show forth your beauty. If I dance, it won't be enough. If I shout, it will be enough. You are the great and the mighty King. You rule in every nation. So Christ the Son before. You are worthy to be praised. You are forever. I worship you today. You are you the throne. Your name I will restore. Heaven speaks of your glory and the earth of your beauty. Your love is new every morning, and your faithfulness is never short. I say, heaven speaks of your glory and the earth of your beauty. Your love is new every morning, and your faithfulness is never short. You are the great and the mighty God. So worthy to be praised, beautiful for us in the worship. You are the joy of the whole world. You are great and mighty. He lives in me. He lives in me. No greater love that is unconditional. He calls my name and I pray. He holds my hand so I can stand. He lives in me. He He is the rock. He is the rock. He is my rock. Glory to the rock. He is my rock. Glory. Yeah. Glory. Jesus is the rock. He is my rock. Glory to the Lord. Jesus is, yes. Glory to the Lord. Glory to the rock. Glory to the Lord. Oh, yes. Jesus is the Lord. He is my salvation and glory, the rock of my strength and my refuge. Trust in him at all times. I shall not be moved. He is my salvation. Yes, Jesus is my strength and my refuge. I'll trust at all times. Shall not be moved. Yes, he is. Glory to say Jesus is the rock. Glory. Yes. Glory to Jesus is. He is glory to. Just tell him he's the rock. Oh, stand up and say Jesus is. Oh, glory to the rock. Jesus is. Oh, the rock of my salvation. Jesus is. Yes, Jesus is the rock of my salvation. Jesus is. Oh, tell him he's the rock. Jesus is. The rock of my salvation. Oh, Jesus is, yes. Yes, he is the rock. Come on and tell him he's the rock today. Yes, he is. Oh, the Alpha and Omega. Yes, beginning and the end. Oh, say Jesus is. Jesus is. Jesus, 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 Jesus. Oh, he's the rock. He's the rock. He is. Oh, Jesus is whatever you need him to be. That's what he is. That's what he is. That's what he is. Jesus is. He's my rock. He's my rock. He's my rock. He's my rock.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's the Rick and Reese show on Holy Hills Radio. It's your boy Reese. You know, I'm sitting with the greatest co-host in America.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I have to give it to you. You know how America, you know how he get. I say I'm the greatest too much, man. He come from my neck. So, you know, Rick Jones, the greatest co-host in America.
God, yeah.
But in between us, man, we got a CEO and founder of Jones Select, Gary Jones.
The Gary Jones.
Welcome to the Rick and Reese show.
All right.
America, I'm gonna be honest. We had to we did some things that was illegal, and
We had to kidnap him to get him here, man. You know, when you're dealing with important people, man, the schedules get busy and it's hard. So
he made sure he told us he was just getting off work.
So you know, if you look, you see Rick's in a hoodie. I'm in a jean I'm in a jean outfit, man. We went and got him, man, about his house. Told him to put a suit on. Nah, we got the CEO and the founder, man. You know, usually, man, you always dress to impress, man. So I really can't say you just did that for the show.
Right.
It's really just what he do. It's what he do. But not for coming on, man. How you been? Everything been good?
I've been good, man. I appreciate the invite. It's been some time since I've seen you guys. And, just happy about the progress of the show and was happy to come in and support and share my story.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So let's just dive right on in, man. Just tell us a little bit about who's Gary Jones. Tell us about Gary Jones.
First of all, I say I'm a Christian. I'm a father.
Okay.
I'm a Columbus person, born and raised here. Just a person that was raised single family home, very humble beginnings, and just hard worker. Very much a hard worker.
Man, you look at him, man. He's so polished, well put together. You know what I mean? And when he gave us a little bit of his testimony, his story, where he's nervous a little bit. You know what I mean? He's too polished right now. You know what I mean? So he's just he's a great guy, man. From what I've learned from you and watched you from a distance, and got to interact with you, man. Just a great guy, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
76er. He's from the city.
Indeed.
He's from the city.
Hi. Yes, sir.
So when we talk about Jones Select.
Yeah.
What is Jones Select?
Jones Select is it's a brand where you can stand out or you can fit in. It is a custom clothing company where we do bespoke suits, which means that your clothing should speak of you. And you go through a measuring process. And what I do with each individual that I work with is personally brand them. So it depends on where you work, where you go, who do you try to influence, and what message are we trying to get across. And it could go from an athlete to a business person, somebody fresh out of college, trying to make a really good impression, to a CEO who's trying to set a certain standard. To an athlete who has, an eccentric personality. So I think, there's so many different ways that, the brand Jones Select, that's why I say you can stand out or fit in. Some people want to fit into a particular crowd and they have no fashion sense. So, when you would come get an education
I like that.
Of what that is.
I like that. I see value here.
Yeah. Look, I'm over here like this. That's me. He's talking about me.
Yes.
Exactly. So, the brand is whatever you need it to be from a clothing perspective. That's what it is.
Okay. Well, man, I'm in the gym, man. I'm trying to get back down so my suits can, hang off me real good. So I'm in the gym, man. I'm working on it.
We'll take care of you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So tell us a little bit. What have you noticed that's the advantages and the disadvantages of having your own business?
I think the advantages are the freedom.
Okay.
There's some freedom that I have. I have a 5-year-old son, and so at times I need to go to a school and, everything I do is appointment only. So you can't just kind of come, location is not, but I do have a office downtown, private appointments. The great thing is that, I can travel, I can take vacation when I would like to. I really just kind of have to set it up to make sure things are set up in place. And I have, the opportunity to make whatever decisions I want to make. So, but I would say the disadvantages of having a business is that it's never off. You really are working 24 hours. Right. So even on vacation, I was just in Jamaica actually for my birthday, and I got a call about a national radio. I'm sorry, not national radio, national like press. Okay. And I couldn't be here to actually take the meeting, and I was trying to do it over the phone, but they wanted to kind of meet with me. Wow. So I'm in Jamaica, like, man, I'm relaxing, but I would have took, right. The part is that you can never put it down. And right. So there are nights that it's, I might be up 1 o'clock or first thing in the morning at 4:30, 5 o'clock, starting my day, where it could just be a hectic or busy day. So, the advantage is that you can kind of set things up, but then at the same time, you never can really let it down. And it can be very stressful as well. Because you have obligations. You have a lot of obligations, and to be able to maintain those things and be able to, take care of business on to all of your clients. You have to be able to just be good at what you that's effective. So
the truth be told, when you own your own business, you really can't even afford to sleep for it. Your own business, I'm like, babe, I can't even sleep. I mean, it's rough sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely.
But it's rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, it can be extremely rewarding, but there's a lot of times that you'll just put in a lot of work, and you know, you have to just put in the hours. And you know, when I started, you know, rolling out of bed, I was working a third shift job, and you know, working from 9 to 9 and taking a shower and putting on my dress clothes and going to a coffee shop and opening the computer and, you know, talking to people I could and picking up the phone and introducing them to the brand Jones Select.
Wow.
And so that's really one of the but when I took it serious, it took me serious, you know.
Good.
But when it was just a hobby, you know, that's what it was. It was on occasion, you know. But when I put in the hours and I had some time in prior to that, it was probably about 6 or 7 years I had worked with independent clothiers outside of the state. One was out of LA, the other one was in DC. Some training with 2 different master tailors that were in the industry that I learned from. They flew in. I did trunk shows here in Columbus for a few years, and it would be, you know, once a quarter I would do something, and you know, nobody would show up, and you know, and weren't prepared for the price points that I was, you know, giving at the time, and you know, I had to work through those things. And so, but I did get an education on fabric and, you know, construction, bench work, and you know, the haberdashery, which is, you know, to put things together. And so, you know, once you get that foundational education, you can go anywhere with it, you know. And then I made a decision to start Jones Select actually when I had my son, who's now 5, which is basically how long I've been in business. I wanted to have something to pass on to him. I'm named after my father, but I didn't necessarily get an inheritance. So when I did Jones Select, you know, to be, you know, obviously a selection, my selection, but I also keeping up with the Jones was easy. I had that last name, but I also wanted my son to inherit some relationships and a work ethic. You know, I didn't know my father to get up every day with a suit on and a tie.
That's huge. That's huge. So when we talk about, you know, you talk about work ethic, you talk about, you know, the beginnings. When choosing, you could have chosen the industry that you wanted. Chose to start a franchise at McDonald's. You could have you chose to dive into one of the most competitive markets out there. Yeah. What made you say, you know what, the clothing industry is what I want to dive into?
Yeah, it was a series of events, but I could say my roots back at I had something to do with it. We were known to be very stylish people. But basically what happened, you know, when I came to school, it was funny. It was actually for senior pictures, right? So I come to school, and I was always a person that was raised in the church. And so, but people at school didn't necessarily know that aspect because I was a sneakers kid when I was there, you know, an athlete. I ran track. So I had enough sense not to wrinkle my suit and put it in a locker. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just wear a suit to school. So I went from my nickname, which I won't mention on air, to some other things. And it was Mr. Jones, right? So the day before it was just a regular kid, and then the next day the administrators were Mr. Jones. Wow. I see you look nice today. I didn't know you had it in you, right? And then the females that were in the class were, oh, Mr. Jones, right? So I had a good response from, you know, the females, and then I had a great response from the administrators. So the leadership responded to me, and then the other counterparts that I wanted to respond, they took interest. Then I had homecoming. I was on the court. I walk out again in front of the whole school. I hear an awe. It's like, wow, the ladies again, right? I'm like, y'all like this? Right. It's okay. We're doing this again tomorrow. And again. So after that, I had tickets in my hand for the homecoming, for a tuxedo place that was by Eastland. It's closed now. And they said, hey, hand these out, tell them who you are, and if they mention your name, you could possibly get a tuxedo. So, you know, everybody's walking out, and I'm saying, hey, you know, go here, get your stuff, and tell them I sent you. Right. So when I go to get the redemption of that to find out if I did it, I had actually got 2 free tuxedos because so many people responded to me. Right. So I was like, man, so that stuck in my head. Like, you know, one, administrator's leadership, they recognize a person that's in a suit, you know, and it's very important for Black men to take the time to dress up and understand what that means going out there. So it was an extreme impression, you know, at 17 that I learned that. And so a couple of mentors that were around me. One was my pastor at the time, who did a ton of traveling and always wore custom suits. The other one was an uncle of mine who was an architect and engineer. They had nice cars, they had beautiful wives, you know, they made good money. So I put those things together and I said, you know, I'm going to look into this industry. So I reached out to a guy who was in LA, who was a master tailor. I had to invest to be a part. We talked on the phone for a year before he would let me even kind of come in. In the industry, to be honest, the custom clothing industry has been a very close-knit community, very difficult to get to get through. So when I was working with them and they were teaching me things, there were certain things that, you know, they don't want to share. They would only pay me a small percentage, and it was not enough for me to take it on. So it was just something that I did as a hobby. And then after so long, I had been doing it so long, I had so many, you know, resources around me to say, man, I understand this industry and it's not being done the way I want it to. The clothiers wanted me to be extremely traditional. And I was like, I wanted to be edgy. You know, I was younger. I wanted to have some color and some flavor. And so it's amazing, you know, with the progression that happened. So, you know, I had a career and I was like, you know what? I'm not working for anybody else again. I'm going to do it my way. So I started the third shift job, which was a no think job. And then I got up every day to start building Jones Select. And I did my first suit for a wedding for a gentleman. Just, you know, I had a conversation. I had a meeting with him at Panera. Did a fitting at his house. And I was nervous because I felt like it was mine. But the suit was gorgeous. You know, it was laid out. And it was rims, and I did a 3-piece for him, and it had so many tricks on it, but it was polished, you know, and he was getting more comments than his wife, you know. It was like, man, who did that suit? You know? And I took care of him 5-star. You know, I showed up to the wedding. I got him dressed, tied his knot. You know, went to the transition to the reception, had a look for him to go in there, made sure he was polished walking into there. And so I knew he was my walking business card. You know, so by the time the wedding went of a reputation, you know, over this and that, you know, after that things started to progress. But the amazing thing about it is that first suit, after some progression and conversations, I got an invite to Phoenix Fashion Week out in Arizona, and I was one of two that got invited from out of the state. It's actually the top 10 fashion weeks in the country. It was in Time Magazine, and for them to take a look at it, and they loved it. Like, we got to have this guy in our show. And at the time I had no idea, because I really didn't have a ton of income and my clientele was still growing, how I was going to get down there, because that's expensive to go. And then I had to go on more than one occasion. But I had faith, and, you know, I got up and I started asking people for things, and, you know, working really hard. And then I was in Phoenix, and I did 12 looks, which my first show was 90-foot runway. And it's still the biggest show that I've done. I mean, it was well attended, and it really started my career. Because from there, Columbus called me, you know, and then, you know, I ended up connecting with some guys out there, which, you know, was just a great platform. But that was really how things started to progress. I started at a young age, so it wasn't the stylist guy that wanted to get into clothing. It started with people that were influencers around me, and I seen the common denominator. These people that were in front, these black men that did well, they were people that dressed well, they had intention when they put on clothing, and that intention, you know, gained more influence. So it's more than just putting on a suit, right? To be bespoke means to be spoke of. So before I even open my mouth, you see what I have on, right? And so many black men and people get into trouble because they don't know how to adapt, because we come from different areas in our neighborhoods, or whatever you may call it. But even though I'm from the same neighborhood, I don't have to act like the neighborhood that's around. You know, you just have to find people that are doing things. And I think sometimes people look for mentors to, you know, to talk to you. But, you know, most of my mentors never had a conversation with me about what I needed to do. I looked at them, and their actions showed me what it looks like. And I think sometimes your mentors will be from afar. You know, there's not many people that reach back these days that will spend time with you. Here's 3 points. Here's things you need to get up and do. You know, you need to organize your day and have a to-do list, or you need to have a vision, and this is why, right? So you just have to catch it, you know, with the people that are successful around you.
That's huge. That's so true. When you talk about that mentor piece,
yeah, man.
You know, that's what is lacking, you know what I mean, in a lot of, and you know, just being specific, the young black males, because you're coming out of the inner city where you may not have been exposed to other cultures.
Mhm.
You may not have been exposed to, you know what I mean, necessarily how to function and conduct yourself in certain arenas.
Mhm.
And then you get in there and you're passive,
Mhm.
you're quiet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's why it is
Because
vital.
you're unsure.
You're unsure of yourself.
Mhm.
And that's why it's key. What you said is you got to catch it. You may not have that person that's going to show you them 3 points, but you can sit and watch that person. You know what? My 3 points is the next few things he's going to do. And I
Mhm.
watch him consistently do,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to have to duplicate. Yeah, he ain't even talked to me.
Right,
Right.
right.
We haven't even
He's
spoken.
on time.
Mhm.
Some things is taught, some
It's-
things is caught.
Exactly.
Mhm.
He's on time. His clothes are pressed, right?
Mhm.
He's prepared. He spent a few minutes before he was going to speak.
Mhm.
He understood who was important to talk to in the room. I mean, so many things that you can learn by watching a person that is very premeditated.
Mhm.
You know, coming into are when they're good at what they do. You have to have intention.
That's good.
You know, it doesn't matter where I go or what I do because I have to work hard. I get up and do this every day. It's a part. My brand is and my life are the same. There's so many people that want to start a business, but they don't have the passion.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Good.
And I know, you know, fast forward, you're going to ask, well, you know, what separates my brand? My brand is not, I'm not full of transactions. I'm full of relationships. So when a person comes to deal with me, I'm not looking at them at a number that I need at the end of the month. Right.
Wow,
So when you come
that's
see
good.
me, I'm thinking, well, I need to sell this guy, you know, $5,000 worth of clothes. Right. I have bills to pay. I have a quota to meet. Because this brand came from the inside out. When I deal with a person, I'm thinking, what is your brand? How can I service you? Right. And so I'm serving my clients. Right. And I build relationships and even sometimes friendships where people call me. I'm like, I need t-shirts, man. I don't do listen, I'm boxing now. I need a jogging suit. All right. I work it out, man. I call you in give me an hour.
Right.
Don't call me for t-shirts. But I do them for some, you know, I do whatever it takes, you know.
That's good. That's good, man. I mean, you were just talking, man. I see you're flowing, man. You're flowing, man. The oil's on his life. The oil's on his life, man. Talking about Christian earlier in the show, how does your faith and business, how does that tie in?
For me, it's very synonymous. I feel like my faith has grown tremendously in the last 5 to 7 years because I think it's one thing to say that you're a Christian and you're tested by, everybody's going to get tested in their own way. But as an entrepreneur, when you really have no roadmap to success, the pressure is so tremendous, you know, having, you know, whether it's bills or children or, you know, all these other things that you have to take care of, you really have to dig. For me, you know, I feel like, you know, I pray every day, but just being able to walk into doors and feel like, hey, you know, it's a blessing for you to say the oil's on me, but it's, you know, those things that are very important before you walk into a door. You know, you spend time with God, the favor with man is easy. You know, so a person may do business and may not know that I need it. There's been time, you know, I've been in a space where I needed this to happen.
Right.
Yesterday, a week ago.
Right.
And a person come in and do business with me and would never know. Right.
That's
So I
good.
always, you know, I stay in a place, like I said, my faith has grown so much because no matter how many times I get in a situation, God is always faithful. You know, he's never let me down, you know, and I think the less we depend on people, you know, the better off we are,
My
you know,
goodness.
because again, you know, people may not know, hey, I don't go around, I'm a Christian. And that's
right.
not how I lead because I'm in a lot of different environments.
That's good.
But I say I am a Christian and I'm proud to be a Christian.
Right.
And again, has grown tremendously each and every day because I see his faithfulness, you know, where, you know, it's just, you know, if it was just me, I'd be selling suits, but he put something on it, you know, put some oil on it, right? You know, I can step in the room and be okay, you know, with people that make a million times more than me. I still feel like it doesn't matter.
Right.
We're both people. We're both men. We put on pants the same way. So, you know, it's good.
That's good. You know, one thing I love about, you know, you know, you're not your traditional, you know, like you gotta be in a pool, but you gotta do this, but you're in a marketplace. You know what I mean? You are influencing other people, and just by you having the character, you know, and the attributes of God, you know what I mean? That's effective in itself, just in the marketplace. So, man, that's a blessing, man. Seriously, you're able to trade these different, you know, avenues. That's good. So, I appreciate it.
And then, you know, definitely always been a humble guy, you know what I mean? The whole time that I've known you, I'm talking since salvation. I I just don't feel like over there off of old refugee. I just don't feel like he was walking through the hallways. I don't feel like the humility was on him when he was in the hallway. But since Christ, though, man, extremely humble. But how does it feel? You know, point where you are now. You know, with Jones Select, man, you've been able to, you've been able to make custom suits for, people like Eric, which is the Royals, the Kansas City Royals first baseman.
Yeah, so Sports Illustrated.
Ray Harris, from the Buckeyes. Ray Edwards, a boxer. Mayor Coleman, I think too. So you've been able to some prominent people. I mean, how does that feel? I mean, how does that feel?
I think my approach in my business is that I feel like everybody is important. And I treat everybody the same. Now, when it's a name, it's awesome. When I get that picture, I'm in. Right. But my thrill is always the fact that the customer is happy. And at the end of the day, or the client, however you want to term it, is that it gives me great exposure. But at the end of the day, everybody is people. And it's amazing because I have this fashion show coming up this week. People are at times. I'm like, man, I got a few people in my Rolodex that people probably would be happy to meet. They're ex-Buckeyes or things like that. And I forget because their title and who they are don't necessarily impress me. And I think the realness that I get in exchange with a lot of my clients, that they're really authentic people. And they're people looking for that same experience, because when you're in a space where you have money, people coming at you all the time, you can appreciate that authenticity. Because looking at the zeros, like this guy, because he makes 10 million, he can spend 20 with me. Everybody in the industry spends that. Right. But if I come at him and I'm building his brand according to his lifestyle, whether or not it gets to that number, I can have a lot longer relationship with him, because when he is ready to spend 5 more, he's going to call me. Right. So it's amazing how, again, do I feel awesome? I feel great. Like, Eric Hosmer, they're in the playoffs. I hope they win tonight. They're playing tonight. If they'll be going to the World Series if they win. And it's just a privilege. It's a privilege to serve. I feel like your gift will make room for you and make you stand before great men. Great men are all over the place. And sometimes they're acknowledged with numbers or zeros, and sometimes they're not. I had the privilege of working with the Urban League with a project called My Brother's Closet. And what it is, it's a place just like Dress for Success, if you've ever heard of that, where young men or people from different areas that are transitioning are getting suits for the first time, right? So there's this beautiful closet that's ran by the Urban League, and I've been a huge part of the consulting and facilitation of that, where I'm doing fittings for people and they're getting suits for the first time and putting on shirts and ties. So I love what I do, or I wouldn't be doing that component of it. And so it's a great tool to be able to be in a place where you understand how enriching this process is for everyone, because you can meet a person that could be down in their spirit and moody, and not feel so great about themselves. They could be going through things that you and I go through. But if you get dressed and put on some clothes, that's going to change something tangibly about what you have going on. So you'll look in the mirror and like, I've never seen good. Right. Who is this guy? Right. So, you get introduced to this person that we all want to be in the future, but that future is now. The yesterday we talked about. Right. And so how can we transition our thoughts, our plans, our vision, our purpose, right? And it's not all tied up in clothing. Obviously, it's the mentality, but there's some physical things that we can do, right, that will transition us. That say, what, I can change my mood if I change my clothes, right? I change my clothes, I change my car, Right. That's all right. We doing something, right? But if you go into an interview and you feel prepared, and that's one of the things I love to do. I talk about, the basics, which is your navy blue, your grays are my 2 favorite suits. White shirts and light blue shirts, my 2 favorite shirts. The reason why you get so much complexity from these things, you can put almost any tie with it, any shoe, a brown shoe, a black shoe, right? With any 2 of those suits, right? And you can show up in any business meeting and be okay. Missing a lot in our community, right, is the education on what shoes you wear that is universally respected. Right. So you see the backlash that, our president got for wearing a khaki suit, right? They're not talking about the 100 times that he wore the blue, or the black with the red tie. My point is saying that there's a reason why staples are essential wardrobe pieces, right? And you might overlook them because you feel, wow, and I want to be, eccentric, right? But that eccentric is the fashion stuff on the fashion runway is not for your workplace.
Right.
Or the gay.
Right.
You can wear that to church. Don't come to the office with it.
That's good.
But my point is that these things are essential to do business, and you have to grow. We all have to grow as people, and so my style has grown from a very eccentric, fashionable, edgy to I need my staples to be able to work, so that I get up every day, right? I need to be able to put something on, put it together, and get on with my day, but feel like I'm appropriate for whatever situation. I'm leaving work to a networking situation. That my outfit is not going to provoke people. I don't want them to have to think too much about what I have on. I want them to get it as soon as they see it. Oh man, that's amazing. And then there's more details later. Right. So it's not always to be loud. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room to be the cleanest or the neatest or the best dressed. You can be as simple as they come, but still kill the room.
Come on. Do this to me right now, man. I'm ready to go to a show. Where's Gary at, man? Come on,
he got me over here thinking about
man, he's anointed to do this, man.
I gotta quit wearing that to that business meeting.
Go on away.
Right.
Hey, I'm gonna go home and regroup them like this. Church only, business only. It's over with.
He really gonna do that? Because I'm gonna educate me.
I'm like this.
I knew it, but that was confirmation.
Yeah. A couple tweeners I thought might still work, and now I'm thinking
that's too loud, man. That's too loud, man. That's before.
I've been the loudest one in the room, man. Ain't nobody told me to the night. I've been the loudest in the room at some of these meetings, man. And I wonder why the building gets closed.
They at the table not respecting you.
What does he have on?
I don't think he understands.
What really stands out to me that you said it's huge to me. I ain't even ever heard anybody ever say it, but you take each individual and you literally try to build. I'm not just trying to put a suit on you because you're getting married. I'm not just putting a suit on you just because you have to go to work, and then if you decide to come back, great. If you don't, but that you literally no, you know what? I'm trying to build your brand. You know what I mean? Exactly where you headed. Exactly what it is. What do you want from? That goes well beyond just you know what do you like? I like brown. I got a nice, I got to brown. Exactly. Put this tie with it. You good. You look good. But to really dig and make it really personable to that individual, man, that's huge.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think that's one of the reasons why I've been able to maintain. It's a blessing that I started with, no capital. Really no capital to sustain myself and to be able to grow from a place where I was working a third shift job, to sustain myself, and then trying to create my business, to be able to create, a good Rolodex of business. And I'll have a space and pub location at the Columbus Athletic Club every Tuesdays where I'm doing alterations, and then, helping with the Urban League, and, and then trying to service my clientele, and so, I feel great about the relationships that I've built. I feel like, the thing that does distinguish me is, again, I'm not looking at people as a check where I want them to just spend with me and I have you look good for this one occasion. Is that, can I be thoughtful enough in your process when I'm dealing with you to be premeditative, to say, is this a good long-term purchase, or do you want to just want a nice suit? Okay, well, what does that mean? What is your job title? Where are you going? What are you doing? And then we can put something together for that. And it's like, oh, it's my birthday. I just want to, turn up. We can do that. But you're only gonna be able to wear this a couple times a year. Right. That's an expensive piece. Right. I'll sell it to you, right? For warning. That's good. But I feel like people can appreciate that more, because when you go to a store, everybody has a quota. When you come see me, my suits aren't cheap. They're not, but I'll explain to you. You can pick wherever you want. The entry level is this, because I don't sell fusion or glue suits. So your off the rack suits, just to give you a little bit more information, is that there's glue in it, right? That glue, when you sweat, anytime you sweat, it's going to stay inside that suit, which is going to break that thing down, which is why it puckers up, right? The suits that you buy that are a little, off the rack, or typically a little cheaper suit. One, the fabric is usually compiled of man-made things, which again traps moisture, right? You have glue in there. Second thing, traps moisture. So then the use of that garment can only be, worn, only a few times. But when you're making a real term purchase, right? You're probably can have that suit anywhere. Guys keep suits anywhere from 5 to 10 years, depending on their use, right? And then you want that style to be, you know, always something that's classy, so that it's not a trend that, you know what, next year nobody's wearing it and you just are in the room making noise. You know what I mean? And so, and again, it's certain, right? But for most situations, when you have a business professional or a person that wants to make a statement, if you have disposable income, it's fine to do it, right? Buy trendy. But when you're building a lifestyle as a grown, you know, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, right? When I became a man, I put away those childish things. And I feel like, you know, as a man, you need certain essentials in your wardrobe. So, you know, you have a wedding, you're going to have unfortunate funerals, you know, you're going to have business meetings that you're going to have a diverse crowd that won't, that you will have to explain a lot, you know, but they're going to see you first. Right. So your resume is talking, you know, before you do buy your clothes. Wow. So I just think it's important. I think it's a component that's overlooked. You know, you have
for sure. And men don't, I mean, believe it or not, man, that men don't, you're spewing out information that me, I got a bunch of, I have tons of suits in my closet, ridiculous amounts of suits, but I don't have the knowledge to really know. I go and I'm like, that suit's cold, and I think that kind of matches with that, right? And I'm gonna get it, but not really the knowledge of, like, you know, these are the certain looks, things, and I'm just like,
the fabric and the garment, you know, I'm over here.
And so Sunday, when it's Sunday, I'm gonna be all over you like, your suit's puffing. Your suit's puffing up. There's glue in there. That's man-made fabric.
You know, I take my suits to the cleaners, man. They're ripping here, ripping there. I'm like, oh my gosh. Educators, go ahead.
That's funny. The other thing about going to the cleaners, that's another thing with the chemicals and the processes that actually breaks down the fabric, right? So typically with the well-made garment, you really should only do it to be loose with it once a quarter, right? A suit, really good suits probably twice a year, right? When you have a great suit, if it's really well made, you can really let it hang, and the moisture natural fibers, they expand and contract, right? So when you sweat and it goes in the suit, you can let it hang. It's going to come out of the clothes. You can steam it, let the steam come off of it. Is good. The only time you need to do it if you got little stains or you know, things like, even with your shirts, the wear and tear on it, you need to not have as much starch breaks down your shirt. So if it's standing up walking by itself, again, you know, you're really breaking down the material. You know, so when you have finer goods, there's a different process. I mean, just think about it like a car. If you have a BMW, you only take it to, you know, to get an oil change once a year. Right. You have to put premium gas in it, right? Yes. So there's levels to clothing, you know, and so again, whatever level you're on, if you're entry level, you're just getting started, I'm always open to actually say, hey, you need to have a budget of, you know, somewhere between $600, you know, and up, depending on what you're trying to do. And then it's like, hey, this is what I can give you for your money. What are you used to spending? Because the hard thing about most people is that first time. But once you see the fit, you see the quality. Right. Okay. You know, we got off probably.
We're your students right now. This good stuff. We're learning a lot. Man. I love it.
That piece about I got to get that business piece down though. I want to know them exact pieces that I got to really.
I know about that. I know about the navy blue with that starch white collar. I love that. I love that look, man, for business.
And you know what's funny with our culture?
I didn't know. Great.
You know, we're candid on our show, man, every week. With our culture, like we'll look at a white man in a suit, in a business suit, and be like, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's like it's boring.
That is the worst.
The suit could be $3,000 and you not know.
Right.
Like, you know, the fabric is different. You know what I mean? Yeah. But how it lays and how it responds, it's like a jogging suit. Like you think you have a jogging suit on until you've been in like wool silk, and then you're like, oh, wow, it's Gucci right now.
It's Gucci, baby.
It's Gucci. Wow. This is living. Right. You should have told me.
Right.
Hey.
You know, and it's amazing because you can buy 12 suits, right, for $100. Right. Or 1 or 2 good suits a year and build your closet. It's not about when you deal with people And sometimes it's, you know, difficult to walk in the place you feel like I ain't ready for that, right? But there's a place you can go into again. You just start making quality purchases when you understand. So a lot of what I do is what I'm talking about now is taking the time to educate, to say, look, you make your decision on what you want. You can start entry level. You can start with a shirt, right? I'm fine with wherever you start. I'm not going to control your budget or force you into a situation. I just want to introduce you to it and then try to match it up with your brand and give you a little something to start and then go from there. I had a client, I'll never forget, everybody was like, you got to get this guy. He wears suits, you know, all the time. We call him suits, blah, blah, talking to him, running to him. And I had to, you know, really stay after him a little bit to get him to do it because he had the money, but he was just frugal.
Right.
He was a K&G guy, right? So he was like, man, this is what I do. Everybody love what I wear. I'm like, I understand, but there's some other levels.
Right. It's levels, baby.
Exactly.
It's
So
levels.
we go in, I measured them. I did a couple shirts for him, and I did some ready-to-wear suits, but they were still better than what he was wearing.
Okay.
And so he wore it, and he tried to go back to shopping. He was like, man, I tried this stuff on. He called me at the store, like, if you don't come to my office tomorrow.
Wow.
He bought a week worth of shirts. Like he could, and since then, he's been a loyal client. Like he's, you know, more suits, and, you know, he understands it now. You know,
so it's not just suits, it's different pieces. So people can come to you and be like, you know what, I just need like 8 dress shirts.
Dress shirts. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. Custom jeans, sweaters, coats, overcoats. I mean, the list goes on. You know, I have a lot of resources, but I don't necessarily give them to everyone. It's just about what are your needs and where do you have the most problems? You know, because the average man, if you didn't know, is about 5'8", right? So if you're about that 5'8", but if you're not our culture, you don't have the same issues if you're an athlete, right? Your seat is a little larger, your legs is a little bigger, your shoulder a little wider. So you have to go through a fitting process of you're trying on things. You want to make sure you get this specific brand. You might have to go towards an urban brand. So when you come and get it fitting, now you have a person that's bringing all that to you. Now the store comes to you. You at the house and laying out everything. We're going through your whole closet, giving away, donating to the urban, you know, to the Urban League if you want to, tax write-off. Or the point is that you can really do a revamping, because I feel like the wardrobe of an average person changes every 10 years, right? From 20 to 30, from 30 to 40, from 40 to 50, right? So in your 20s, you're going to wear certain things. In your 30s, is going to be a little bit different. And so you have to evolve, just like anything. And clothing is just, you know, it's just a tool.
Wow. You obviously know your craft. You eat, sleep, and stuff, don't you?
We've been in class tonight.
I didn't know, man. I respect it, man.
We've been in class tonight.
You know, his craft business, though. You know what I mean? But it's not only business, it's passion, though. That's what I love, man. And you serving the people, man. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
On the way tonight, man. You know, I'm impressed, brother. I'm very impressed.
Man, that's how you gotta be being a CEO. I mean, you're a CEO, you own a company. You want to know that, man, this is you're at the helm of this. You want to know that they know what they're doing. You want to know that they're very knowledgeable. But I'm gonna be real, I ain't know to that extent. I thought you sold suits. I'm thinking like, man, he sell a great suit. Like, no.
Fellas, that's surface. Fellas, it's way more.
Come with me, John. Come with me, John.
Get a pen and a paper. Get a pen and a paper.
And you know, I love too that you, like you said, you know, they can donate. You go in and you servicing people, and at the same time, they're able to turn around. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of these couple pieces now that I'm about to add a few pieces, and then it's going for a greater cause. To be able to do what they do.
And definitely go to CUL.org, which is the Columbus Urban League. The closet it's a beautiful piece. It's probably about 500 square feet. It looks like a men's store. So it looks like a men's warehouse when you walk in. Oh, wow. And we have shoes, and you know, we just did a suit drive with Columbus Connections. And we're doing a lot of partnerships, but we're actually about to post some things for volunteers with, you know, managing different things that are going on. But it's a service oriented piece. But I think it's a great piece because, you know, if we help the community that we have here to break down the barriers of needing money to walk into a space where they can get something that looks good and makes them feel good, then we can start to help and change the community. You know, I think we do that with food. You know, you do that in other things, and so you know, that's why I'm proud of, you know, being a part of the Columbus Urban League piece. Obviously, I'm happy to own my own business as well. But you know, the things that probably mean the most to me are things like that, and then the relationships that I gain. You know, those are probably the most important things. So, you know, when you name a name, it's like, oh, that's a friend. You know, he turned into a friend. We've had some great conversations. You know, and the amazing part about being around people that, you know, that are successful is that you can you can start seeing a lot of the that line up among them all. What are the common denominators of do so well? You know, in a lot of times people just look at people like athletes and they're people. You know,
right.
They're people. Just like other people that get elevated, whether they're business owners or people that had a past. But they're very smart, intelligent, and people that love to be around them. And I hope that's what my brand brings to the industry. It's authenticity, a high level of skill, and I feel like you can compare my brand to anybody out there, and we'll measure up.
Now this is bad. I saw Eric with a bag, man. Nice. Burnt orange leather. On your social media site, man. I don't know if there's a basketball. I mean, I don't know what kind of bag it was.
So I had a partnership with last year. I did the Golden Glove Awards for all the Golden Glove winners for baseball, and I had an opportunity to meet Ozzie Smith and D. Whitfield, like some of the legends of baseball, and Brandon Phillips, who plays for the Reds, who's a client as well. And with that partnership in the bags, there's a bags company with Rawlings. They ball bags. And so I have access to a few things.
Yeah, I saw that on. I'm looking like that's a nice bag.
right. The list keeps growing.
See, that come from that networking and really building up that
and
network.
Again, it's not. I don't think it's a skill set that I'm out here just the greatest networker in the world. There's some other things that I could do better, but I don't canvas like the typical person in my industry does. I try to lean on my relationships and build with them, so they can open up opportunities for me.
Right.
That's good stuff.
So did we get through the questions? I know it's getting close.
Well, somebody just texted me. They want to know, is there any future business with the Rick and Reese show with Joan Select?
Probably have
just came in.
My number.
Yeah, we're in. I got 3 pieces I need to donate. Right. And I'm gonna start out by adding one. Two.
It's gonna be hard not to go to it.
It's over with. If he didn't do anything else tonight, it's on me. I'm like this. I want to be treated. I like this.
No, listen, I want to be treated. I want to get on the phone. Like, I'm up here with Gary. That's right. Yeah. Okay, I'll talk to you a little later. You still going? Okay. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm done with the glue. I'm done with the glue.
Shift. I had a paradigm
I'm done with
shift.
glue, man.
The glue was terrible.
I'm going home tonight and look at my clothes. I'm like, glue.
Listen, I'm taking my suits. The glue come back, man. I thought it was just
come on. I'm like this. I'm fresh out the cleaner, get that plastic off. Like, I'm ready. Glue, man. Man-made fabric. It's over with.
My goodness.
I'm finished.
He knew what he was doing, man. He's great.
He's great, man. As we wrap up, man, just what as far as the people being able to reach you, all the social media sites,
the business Joan Select, the Great Select as well. So everything pretty much is under Joan Select. Future events coming up this week. I'm doing CMH Fashion Week, the bridal portion, which is at the casino at 7:00. You can get tickets for that at cmhfashionweek.org, or just go into the website, look for the bridal. They have a fashion week on Saturday as well. But I'm doing 5 looks, and all of my looks are actually ex-Buckeyes or ex-NFL players. Scooney Penn, Corey Pitt Brown, Bobby Carpenter, Lonzo Shavers, and Ty Howard, and majority of my clients, but they're all but again, I wanted to bring the Buckeye component.
Right.
But
I played football for Akron University. That's not the Buckeyes exactly, but I was a star athlete, man. I feel kind of offended here.
We have a suit for you. Maybe next year you get the call. Right. We'll make the cut next year. See, that's the introduction.
Yeah, I see. Okay, if I'm a little. Oh God! But we don't want to keep you all night, man. We done kidnapped you, man. It's a great show, man. I appreciate everything that you brought on the show. Wow.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it.
It's great.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite, man. Just happy for you guys' success, and glad to be a part, and glad I can add value to what you guys are doing, and hopefully, shed some light on that are important from a value standpoint of young men getting dressed and people in general, whether you come or can afford a custom suit. I think just being intentional at what you're putting on is so important. You know, even if you are buying glue, that glue can look good. That glue has its place.
I'll never be the same.
Never. Hey, it's over.
Oh, it's over.
Can't just walk by me no more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice.
We're about to change the industry, baby.
We'll talk about the full canvas later. I'll tell you what that means later. That's a whole nother.
Oh my God, this guy we gonna have a paradigm shift in here, man. This is crazy. Great show, man. Great show, man. I know our listening audience, man. They were educated like we were educated. So, you know, before we get out of here, you know, we like to have our guests pray, pray us out of here, and you know, just wrap up the show like that. So.
Our Father and our God, we just thank you for an opportunity to be among believers, and we just thank you for all the people that are listening.
Yes,
we just pray that somebody's faith was encouraged and someone was enlightened, somebody laughed. We know that's good for the soul. And Lord, we just ask for your blessing on this show, your continued blessing, that people will be reached and changed and transformed and enlightened, be in a better place with you.
Yes,
and just Father, we just thank you for the time of fellowship. It's always good to be among brethren. We know iron sharpens iron.
Yes,
so tonight, Father, we just thank you for your blessings and safe travels, and just I want to give you the glory, the honor, and the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
There you have it, America. We're wrapping up another show. We definitely want to thank the CEO and founder of Flat Out of Heels, Don Dixon, for being a call-in guest. Definitely want to thank my man Harry Jones, Jones Select.
Yes, sir.
It's time to hop out of the glue and hop into the Hey, we definitely, man, be looking for Rick and Reese to be stepping up into something a little different.
Kingdom Image Awards, we're coming, baby.
Yeah, we definitely got to
bring on the nominees and the noise.
Tune in next Monday night to the Rick and Reese Show, Holy Ghost.